Okay, friends, it's Halloween season, so that means that a bunch of people are about to go do some really stupid stuff. Here's a fun tip from me to you. If you're thinking it's a cool idea to go to an old insane asylum, or to go to a jail, or to go to a place where something really bad happened, I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of these spirits didn't respect the word no when they were alive. Why would you think they would respect the word no now that they're dead? So even if you do somehow get the guts to turn around and be like, no, don't follow me home. Don't do these bad things. Don't haunt my life. Don't ruin me. Why would they listen? Why would they listen? Facebook just reminded me that a year ago today, I was followed home from a graveyard by a ghost. Story time. For those of you who don't know, I'm a ghost tour guide here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I'll be honest, I didn't always take the stories seriously. Wow, did I learn. I had a rough day, my family was in town, and I was just stressed. And while I was kind of getting the feeling that something may have been following back home, I just kind of wasn't listening to my intuition. On my way back home, and then when I got back home, I felt like the air was really thick in my house. But once again, not being so smart, I just tried to go to sleep. That night, some of the worst nightmares I've ever had in my life. I woke up around 3 a.m. and I was absolutely petrified. And the worst thing about it was like something was in my head telling me lies, terrible lies about the friends and family I had around me. I was so scared I couldn't even reach out to my fiance next to me or even my dog. Even the room somehow looked darker. And all I could do was silently call out to anything that would help. I should mention that the house that I was living in was haunted by a woman who used to live there. And I'm pretty sure she heard me. She set off the smoke alarm only in the room that I was in, and it woke everybody else up in the house. Then we cleansed. Here's another strange photo from the St. James Graveyard here in Wilmington, North Carolina. How do you explain that? Heads up. Yes, literally. This was sent in by a guest at Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington. The location is St. James Graveyard. That's the place I went live from and then posted it on YouTube. Let's see, we have the side of the church and then... What do you see? Yes, okay, good morning, I know what it looked like. However, the reason why I wanted to make this was I wanted to get some of your opinions on something not only I just saw, but my dog also saw as well. So we are parked in some of the last bits of undeveloped wooded land in New Hanover County. And just as something fun, yes, I've been seeing stuff. Spiritual stuff. This is what I saw this morning from this window. That's where our bed is. Here's the view, and what happened right over there. It looked like a huge shadow went over those bushes to the right and actually went behind those trees right over there. So yeah, I want to say that it was like a bird or something that got in front of the sun, or maybe like a plane, but how would that explain the shadow going behind the trees? Also, it was big. Like, it was big, big, big. From my peripheral, I actually saw how she watched it happen as well. She followed it exactly. So what was it? I have no idea. You're welcome to comment below. Hi there. Hope you don't mind, but my hair is still drying and I don't actually live in my ghost tour guide stuff. Anyway, my thoughts on any kind of aggressive spirit is consent. As in, if you didn't give consent, no good, no bueno. I don't like spirits like that. Nothing should be hurting you. And I don't just mean physically, I also mean emotionally, mentally, you name it. Here's the thing. It's necessary to look at the situation within the context of the other perspective, in this case, the spirit. Are they trying to tell you something? And did you not listen? Is this them acting out in the only way that you've paid attention to? If that's the case, try and compromise. Try to figure out what they're trying to tell you and see if they stop. However, if they're just doing that to weaken you or hurt you for the sake of hurting you so that they can build up their momentum, you gotta get them out of there. That is non-consent. You can't do anything about that. Here's a happy kitty and a doggo for you. Welcome to the New Hanover County Courthouse. Built in 1892, this place is known for never being too quiet, even at night. And if you ever see a woman at night standing all the way up there, it's a ghost. I've made this video before, but here we go again. House cleansing. Heads up, depending on what your practice, there are many ways to cleanse your house. However, the most important thing you can do during your house cleansing is state your intention, aka what you're doing and why you're doing it. This is one way to cleanse your house, so save the video, take notes, do what you have to do, okay? Crack your front door. Crack your back door. Or crack a back window if you don't have a back door. Grab a bundle of whatever you're going to use to sage with, light it, put out the flame, then use the smoke and start from the back of your space. Move through every room and go up front. And as you're taking your bundle, go clockwise around the space and keep stating your intention for the space. Once you're done with each room, be sure to light a candle or light some incense to fill the space back up. You need to refill the space. And the last place you're going to cleanse out is your front door. And remember, if you want more power during your cleansing, get more people together. Outnumber whatever you're trying to work against. Just like cleaning your house, this is not a one-time fix, so repeat. I'm going to be upfront with you. This photo is hard to see. It's also been enhanced to try and help. A man taking the tour at Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington said that he felt like he was being followed after leaving the graveyard. He took a photo behind him, and this is what he saw. Do you see him? Because I see a head. And all the way down, there's a kind of distortion to the feet. But hey, I'd love to know your thoughts. Rebecca the Ghost Guide here, and I have another haunted photo for you. Or at least that's one of the guests at Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington thought when they showed it to me. This was taken at the Bergwin Wright House. But hey, you tell me what you see. Leave me a comment below. So, I've seen this guy show up in pictures at the Bergwin Wright House at night, but this is the first photo that I have of him during the day. A tourist in Wilmington sent this photo in because they wanted a second opinion. They weren't even on the ghost tour, but they did reach out to us. Here's the house. Do you see him? Welcome to places you wouldn't expect to be haunted. City of Wilmington Fire Headquarters. Let me guess, you're thinking, oh, this place looks new. Nobody died here. It couldn't be haunted. Well, you're almost right. In this case, it's not about the building that's here, it's what was before it. This is one of 3 known places here in Wilmington called Gallows Hill. Here's when I ask you. You may think that your house is new or that your business is new and that it couldn't possibly be haunted. But how do you know for sure that the land before it wasn't a place like this? I think what's worse is we don't even know how many people actually died here. And for anyone who hasn't seen me before, hi, my name's Rebecca the Ghost Guide. I do spooky stuff year-round, and you just wait what I got cooked up for spooky season. Welcome to another episode of Places You Wouldn't Expect to Be Haunted. Beautiful, historic, brick-laden street. Oh, there's a graveyard. Oh, but the graveyard's over there. Certainly the street couldn't be haunted. The graveyard used to be larger. A lot larger. Did they move all the bodies? You know, it's so expensive to move bodies. No, the answer is no. I do spooky content all year. Imagine what I got cooked up for October. Okay, so here's a picture I would really love to hear your explanation on. This is the loading dock of the old Bullock Hospital. And I'll tell you right now, this is not a reflection of a light on the opposite side. There are no lights there. Okay, what in the world is that? Here's to anyone who was too afraid to walk down a hallway because they saw a figure at the end of it. That's what it's like living in a haunted house. So this happened a few times at my old house, and some nights I wouldn't walk down the hallway, and other nights I had to have somebody with me. And that's okay. We stronger together. Do you ever get the feeling that something you can't see is standing behind you? Or, I don't know, maybe trying to check out your shoulder? Full discretion, my face looks real dumb. The photo was taken while I was telling the tale of Gallus Meg. Okay, that's my creepy face, but what's that? Hi everybody, Rebecca the Ghost Guide here, and what I'm about to say, I do not say it with the intent to scare you. I say it out of a place of care. A lot of spiritually sensitive people, myself included, are picking up on a lot of stuff at a level that we have not seen before in recent history. Just like we in the living world have totally been thrown off by 2020, the spiritual world has been thrown through a loop as well. Once again, I do not say this to make you afraid. I say this out of care because there are things that you can do in order to protect yourself. The number one thing being, trust yourself. Trust your gut or your ancestors or your angels or whatever you believe in. It doesn't matter what it is. It matters that it gives you peace and balance. Do not be afraid to say no to things this Halloween season. If you're getting a bad vibe, don't do it. And if you feel like things are getting out of hand and that you don't have control and you want understanding, I have links to videos, Q&As in my bio. Here's to those who have had shadow figures caught standing behind them in photographs. That's what it's like living in a haunted house. I've seen this in life as well as in photographs. My advice, cleanse your house, cleanse your life, and make sure that nothing's trailing behind you. Trying to kill time before ghost tour and you all keep asking what the most haunted place I've ever lived in was like. It was kind of a lot. This was the first home that I rented here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and even on the tour, I recognized 2 different energies. The first one I understood to be intelligent. It actually felt like she was following us around the house. She was an elderly lady. She understood that she had passed. She stayed behind to look after the house, and she actually even warned us about damage in the walls after Hurricane Florence. She didn't like us at first, but we came to a compromise. She was very conservative and Well, we're not. She did tell me her name and I was able to look it up in the records of deeds, which was pretty cool. And there were all the other spirits in the home. There was a guy in the bathroom who liked to turn the lights on and off, but he only ever seemed to do it with me. And I had to set a boundary that no, he could not come over to the shower with me. But he never showed up when I was using the toilet, so win. There was another ghost in the spare bathroom that liked to tinker with stuff when people were doing their thing. Ghost in the spare bedroom, don't know who that was. Guy in the kitchen who liked to fog things up and breathe down your neck. Tall guy in top hat. Let's play the game of You Tell Me. The following photo was taken at the Latimer house and was sent in by a guest at Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington. First question, what is that light? It's not a reflection from the street and there were no lights on inside. Second question, do you see anything there? Welcome to a place you might not expect to be haunted. Sure, we're in the alleyway close to one of the oldest homes in Wilmington, North Carolina. But the home is over there. Why would the alleyway be haunted? Well, for one, the fence didn't used to be here. That means the property used to be larger. This property dates back to pre-revolutionary times. And this property actually played host to the English Army. The English Army used this space to make a public example of traitors of the crown. And right where I'm standing, a gallows was built. Sometimes these people would be left hanging for days or weeks at a time. Now you tell me, do you think this alleyway is haunted? The following photo was taken out by the Bergman Wright House here in Wilmington, North Carolina on one of my ghost tours. A lot of people will say that orbs are dust, and if that is the case, can you please explain this to me? Do you see that circle right there? How is that dust? Here's another photo taken on my ghost tour here in Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington, and I would like to know what you see. It's right over my shoulder right there. This was taken at the Bergman Wright House. There's no light source down there. I think it's another one of my friends here at the Bergman Wright House. What do you see? This is a really great question because it's not something that people often think about. But the fact of the matter is, objects can carry energy, spiritual energy, with them. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't go thrifting. In fact, I love thrifting. What it means is you should just be careful, okay? One, if you touch something and it just doesn't feel right and you can't quite put a finger on why it doesn't feel right, you don't have to get it. That's your gut or whatever you believe in telling you that you probably don't need it for whatever reason. Now, let's say you get something and you think it felt fine, but then some weird stuff starts to happen. You can cleanse objects, okay? You don't necessarily have to throw it away. In fact, I would recommend always cleansing secondhand objects. It can't hurt them after all, and it certainly won't hurt you. If you're looking for tips on cleansings, I've got a link in my bio to my YouTube where I talk about different kinds of spiritual cleansings from different kinds of traditions. Find what works for you. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Horace at Madame Meerkat's Cabinet of Curiosity. I've gotten all 3 of these necklaces from him, and this one in particular I've had for a long time, but I took into him because the little piece right here, it's shimmering black obsidian, took a hit for me one day and flat out disappeared. I had no idea what it was. I took it into him and he made a new one for me, and today is the first day that I've had it in quite a while. So thank you, Horace, and thank you, Madame Meerkats. You know I'm gonna be back again. Do a ghost tour and I thought I'd answer some questions. Some of you have been asking how I have my paranormal experiences, so I'm gonna answer that. Spiritually sensitive people may experience things in different ways. Some people see stuff, some people hear stuff, some people feel stuff, some people know stuff. And it's pretty common to have a mix of all of that and then maybe a little bit more. It is rare for me to hear things with my ears. It is also rare for me to see physical details with these eyes. However, if a spirit is open to letting me see stuff through this eye, so to speak, that is how I see, that is how I hear. I've had experiences where a spirit will actually share a memory with me. Those memories could be anything from having a nice day at the park, their family, and sometimes their death. Sometimes I see it as if I'm watching a movie, and sometimes it's almost as if I'm watching through their eyes. I really prefer the latter experience. If I do actually see something with my eyes, it's usually a blurry kind of image. To learn more, I do have to seek out the spirit's attention. Spooky season's greetings and salutations from me, Rebecca the Ghost Guide. A lot of you have been asking for some spooky tales, and I couldn't think of any better example than to tell you what is going on right now with ghost tour guides here in Wilmington, North Carolina. This is case number 2 that I'm going to share with you, so if you want more, you know what to do. There's one location on the tour where most of us will not step foot on. That location is known as Gallows Hill, and it has the reputation for being the most dangerous location that we have on the tour. Not only have these spirits physically harmed people through punching, kicking, scratching, and bruising them, they also have a tendency to follow people home. These spirits have also known to be especially possessive of women. My partner and I have had to do various cleansings for 2 different people at this point because these spirits have actually started to target their significant others. These guys started to hear voices, they experienced night terrors, and they were being physically harmed. Protect yourselves out there. The following is a photo taken on my ghost tour here at Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington, and I want to know what you see. Right there. See that little line right there? There's no light up there, nothing to give that off. I describe them as my friends because they only seem to come out for me. Here's a photo from the old Bullock Hospital. This is where the old 3rd floor children's ward is said to still have children up there. There's the old front of the hospital. And as we move up to the 3rd floor, there's something right there. Here's to anyone whose pet stares at things that you cannot see. They stare at them almost constantly. That's what it's like living in a haunted house. Okay, I'm gonna be real. Roger sees stuff like all the time. I don't even know if it's paranormal, but there were times when all 3 of our pets saw things at the same time. I may have made a new friend at the Bergwin Wright House. If you believe in ghosts, that is. It's not uncommon to see a little blue orb around here. I've posted some videos on it before. But recently people have been saying they see somebody either coming out on that balcony while I'm telling my stories, or they catch a little orb. I hope they like my stories. Get ready, because I have a hard truth for you. I'm starting to have people come to me and saying, no, we've tried everything. We've tried all the things. We hired a priest. Okay, here's a question for you. Does your priest believe in what you're telling them? Or are they just doing a general cleansing for the home? Are they actually getting rid of the thing? Can they actually sense the thing and know what they're talking about? And honestly here, I'm not just talking about priests. I'm talking about any spiritualist who comes to your house and says that they can cleanse it. If they can't tell you what the problem is and what it is that you're dealing with, they can't deal with it. In addition, going through the works is not enough. You have to put will behind this thing. I'll do an example. The power of Christ compels you. Or, the power of Christ compels you. Okay, see, which one would you choose? Which one do you think actually works? Yes, that was a quote from The Exorcist. In conclusion, it's not that what you're dealing with can't be removed. It's that you've yet to find someone who can work with you to actually remove it. More on this in part 2! Welcome to places you might not expect to be haunted. Now, here's the gist. We have a friendly understanding with all of the religious buildings in Wilmington as a ghost tour not to talk about them. And I'm not just talking about the church that you saw behind me. I'm talking about all of them. So I don't know what that says to you, but that says to me that there's something to talk about. Let me guess, you're thinking, oh, churches can't be haunted, religious buildings can't be haunted because God is there. Whoever told you that? No, really, whoever told you that? Look, I'm not trying to insult anybody's understanding of anything, but in my experience, ghosts can be anywhere. Yes, anywhere. Sweet dreams. You've asked. I think my house is haunted. Should I hire a paranormal investigation crew to come out? Well, it depends. Do you want documentation of your haunting? Or do you want to remove, release, or at least come to terms with your haunting? If you're just looking for documentation, yeah, sure, hire the paranormal group. Otherwise, you're going to want to hire a spiritual practitioner. Make sure your spiritual practitioner can also diagnose the problem rather than just blessing your house. And that goes for all spiritual beliefs, not the one that you're probably just thinking of. The middle line with this is some paranormal groups do have a medium on their staff. Or if they don't have a medium on their staff, they have the intuition to be able to talk to these things and actually try and release them and help the problem. But remember, just because a group can afford the cool gadgets doesn't necessarily mean that they should be handling these things. Yes, I am calling out most of the paranormal investigation shows on TV and YouTube. All in all, figure out what you want before you hire anybody and make sure that they're qualified for the job. By the way, this video goes out to Nick. I'm one of his followers and he is one of mine. If you like ghost videos, definitely check out his page. A guest on the ghost tour took this photo by accident while walking the sidewalks. Can you offer a scientific explanation? Granted, it's a little bit fuzzy and I think this was near the graveyard, but how do you explain that? This photo is a stop I've only recently added to my ghost tour. The old New Hanover County Courthouse. And specifically, we're going to be talking about this window up here, but not this photo. Here's a photo from the same guest, just zoomed in. What do you see? Welcome to places you might not expect to be haunted. And no, I'm not talking about the bridge. I'm talking about the river. And I want you to think about this real quick. Why would a river be haunted? I'll give you a minute. Really, I'm going to give you a minute. Because it's not just this river that could be haunted. It could be any of them. Ever heard of a ghost ship? Do you think that could only apply in the ocean? It doesn't. So now that you've thought about it, is this really a place that you wouldn't expect to be haunted? You tell me. For those of you who don't know me, hi, my name's Rebecca the Ghost Guide. I do creepy content all year round. Imagine what I've got cooked up for October.
Nique s'en allait tout simplement, routier, pauvre et chantant. En tout chemin, en tout lieu, il ne parle que du bon Dieu, il ne parle que du bon Dieu. À l'époque où Jean sans terre d'Angleterre était le roi, Dominique, notre père, combattit les albigeois. Dominique, nique s'en allait tout simplement, routier, pauvre et chantant. En tout chemin, en tout lieu, il ne parle que du bon Dieu, il ne parle que du bon Dieu.
The following photo was captured out at St. James Graveyard on our ghost tour at Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington. Tell me, do you see anything here? Here's the same picture zoomed in, and if you see something, do comment below. Right, everybody, this is a follow-up video from the unexplained shadow video that I posted from yesterday morning. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say, because I imagine this is gonna confuse a lot of you, I have generally two looks in my life. One is ghost tour guide, and the other one is like hippie, so here we go. Also, a big thank you to everybody who commented. I'm going to address some of them that really stood out to me. Someone actually asked if these woods have a dark energy to them. I don't want to sound like a cop out here, but yes, they actually do. There's so much going on in the county right now, and I think the original spirits of these areas are angry. That said, are they angry at us? I don't think so. I think they're allowing us to coexist at this point. Now, something that I was unclear about was how big the shadow was, so that's on me. So from what she and I both saw, the shadow was over here. It kind of went right on top of these bushes right over here, and then went behind those two trees right there. It did appear to be levitating a few feet above the ground, came up to about 8 feet high, and was maybe 10 feet long. The path that it took was straight through there down to a creek. Oh, what a question. Hi, friend. You must be new to my channel. And hey, that's awesome. I'd love to answer your question. I say that because a lot of my videos are talking about past experiences that I've had. I'll try and fit this into 1 minute. From a young age, I could see a lot of stuff that I couldn't quite understand. People might call them shadow figures, among other things. Long story short, I turned that off. It's not easy to do, and it took a while for me to turn it back on. The reason why I had to turn it back on was because I kept seeing people close to me with very bad attachments to them. So I needed protection from some spirit guides. I'm so grateful they came through for me. So that's a lot of activity over my life, over a long stream of time. Then I started dating people who had even more attachments to them. Moral of the story, make sure you date yourself first so that you know who you are and you're a better person by the time you date other people. Yeah. The first house I lived in Wilmington was mega haunted. It was quite the experience. We had a ghost for almost every room. And now I work on the ghost tour, so I see stuff all the time. In conclusion, I have more and more experiences every day. This photo was also taken at the Bergwin Wright House here in Wilmington, North Carolina. Honestly, one of my favorite stops on the tour. I love it here. It's very common at this location to see faces in the windows. Did you already spot the one here?
Because this was a working freight warehouse.
Production is down. Very interesting that they broke when I came in. It doesn't know.
Okay, because I've got pictures of it.
I've got video.
Corrections, and she's
Oh,
got
yeah, no, that's activity.
We are in 2020.
Diarrhea.
COVID days. Did you just get something crazy on that thing? I think she's talking about diarrhea of the mouth. Here.
Have you checked out our episode of Tracking Transition yet where we went to the Wilmington Railroad Museum? Also tagged below because they were amazing hosts. By the way, here's a still from that investigation that we did. And if you're having trouble seeing it, I do recommend checking out the full episodes on YouTube. See you there.
Too bad I don't agree, so I'm gonna hang it up for everyone to see, and you can't stop me, 'cause I'm the queen of the castle. Get down, you dirty ras.
We were invited to a Mabon gathering tonight with local witches. We've never done this before.
Yeah.
The black.
They got a panel of experts together.
Miss and through there.
The herbs and the pentagram.
They drink from horns, as well as straws and cans. And another cat. They have 6 black cats. Altar. Broomstick, altar. Check out all this amazing food everywhere. How do witches say grace? Wow. Kitty dinner. trivia murder party. Crystals on every windowsill. We've eaten, we've played games, and now, fire. Alright, what do witches do around fires?
Burn shit! Can I eat finally? We've also learned that witches like to talk about anatomy.
It's that time of the night.
Have is a small, consistent group of people who we trust to take the necessary precautions to protect themselves and us.
Fun times in the life of being a ghost tour guide. Here we go. Have you ever had an experience where you can tell that somebody's walking up behind you before you can hear them? You just kind of feel them walking up behind you? There is science to this, but I don't know how to explain it. But just go with me on this or either look it up yourself. Anywho, that's what happened here. I felt like something was walking up behind me, and then I felt a kind of warm, tingling feeling on my elbow. And at the same time, this photo was taken. Here you can see 3 distinct dots, and I'm not talking about the lights there. I'm talking a little bit below them in front of the fence, but you can also see the outline of me and a little dot on top of my elbow there. And here you can see the orbs have moved a little bit, so they're a little bit lower on the fence, and then you can also see a moving orb has moved up my arm a little bit. Clearly the shutter speed was having a few issues trying to keep up with how fast they were moving, and that's why they look like little lines. The funny thing throughout all of this is while the group was freaking out, I was fine, and I just kind of felt like there was a warm hand on my elbow.
It's just a song, an inefficient way to move the story along. I'm done.
You're just being cynical.
No, it's just the principle. Someone, won't you make it stop?
Don't make it stop.
Oh, I can't stop singing. Make it stop, make it stop. Am I real or just a prop? Oh, I can't stop singing. So let's just talk.
Talk, 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 talk.
We're trapped inside a musical review.
At least I'm here with you. I don't wanna make it stop.
Welcome to places you might not expect to be haunted. Hope you like my mask, it's very fitting for the story I'm about to tell you. Today, this sleepy section of street in Wilmington, North Carolina is filled with art galleries, coffee shops, and salons. However, during the turn of the century, this place was filled with banks. And when North Carolina was one of the first places in the Union to adopt prohibition, there were also speakeasies. And as you might imagine, that created a lot of crime. Things got so bad that even coming downtown might get you caught in the crossfire. And that earned the area the nickname Robbers Row. My name's Rebecca the Ghost Guide, and if you haven't seen me before, I do creepy content all year. Just imagine what I've got cooked up for October. Spooky season's greetings and salutations from me, Rebecca the Ghost Guide, and apparently Mira too. A lot of you have been asking for some spooky stories, and I couldn't think of a better example than to tell you what is actually going on between ghost tour guides in Wilmington, North Carolina right now. This won't be a single video, because there's been a lot. So you know what to do for more. Case number 1. This comes from a retired federal agent who now works at the ghost tour for fun. And I have to say, this is one of the most put together, emotionally stable, not far-fetched person that I know on the tour. The only reason why he opened up about this is because I asked if anything was going on with him personally. One of his regular stops on the tour is haunted by a number of children who died before they reached the age of 5. They are known to be very active. However, this is the first case that we have of them actually following someone home. He told me how one night he was simply watching TV after the ghost tour, and he and his cat saw a child run across the room and disappear. Okay, so here's to the time I told people that the tunnel leading to the Old Bullock Hospital was not haunted. Okay, but is there any place left in historic downtown Wilmington that's not haunted? Here's that tunnel, and what is that? Have you ever had something strange happen to you? Like unsolved mysteries kind of strange. Ghosts, ghouls, aliens, that kind of thing. If you don't know me, hello. My name is Rebecca the Ghost Guide. I live out of a bus and I'll be traveling full-time by November. And here's how you can be a part of that. I've traditionally always made videos, and I'm gonna continue to make videos. However, I also wanna continue telling stories, and so I'm going to get into the realm of podcasts. Here's where you come in. I would love to hear your stories. I would also love to start interviewing people as well. So, if you have a story, please get in touch with me. If you have photos, please get in touch with me. And who knows, depending on my route this winter, I just might come out and see you and maybe we can do an investigation together. Either duet this and tell me your story, or be sure to tag me in another video and tell me your story there. The other option, I have communication links in my bio. I just can't say what they are because of the algorithm. Seriously though, I am so looking forward to hearing your stories and maybe meeting some of you too. The following photo was sent in by one of you, specifically Shotsmith Photography. Shout out to you. This is one of my favorite spots on our ghost tour and Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington. It is St. James Graveyard. Tell me what you see. The following is a photo that I took of a photo that a man took in the gardens of the Burgwin Wright House. This man was so floored by this photo. He just could not believe it. It was so much to him. Here's the thing. I don't actually see anything. So, if you see something, please let me know. I would love to see what he saw. He said that he saw a man up against a tree, but what do you think? So there's the tree. And then I think I might see a little something up there in the tree, like an orb or something. But what do you think? Welcome to a place you might not expect to be haunted. Seemingly uneventful gravel lot behind an old church. The haunting, however, predates this lot. 100 years ago, an old convent used to be here. And behind me, a woman known as Mother May has been seen walking down the hallways of this old convent to this day. Because energy doesn't need a building to exist. And for those of you who don't know me, hi, my name's Rebecca the Ghost Guide. I make spooky content all year, so just imagine what I've got cooked up for October. Okay, you're gonna wanna look at this. I'm gonna show you two different photos. These two photos were taken by the same person on the same night at Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington. This is the first photo. It was taken at Emma Baldwin's house. Look at the window. Do you see anything up there? Okay, here's the second photo taken immediately afterward. Look up at the window. Here's the same photo of the same window blown up in case you didn't see. Do you see her? Do you see Emma Baldwin? Because I do. Ouija boards. No. No. There are many tools. See, look at this. There's so many tools. That a whole top paragraph are tools that you can use. Ouija boards have been made popular in popular culture. That does not mean that they're the best. That does not mean that they work so much better than all the other ones. No, Ouija boards are pretty weak, honestly, as far as reaching out to the spiritual realm. Allow for all kinds of lower level spirits to be able to have higher level power. They don't allow for specificity. It's very much open-minded. If you were to have a frat party and you just open your doors to whoever wants to come in and you offer them beer, well, you may be able to kick them out at the end of the night, but maybe you haven't run out of beer. And all these people who just came in don't want to leave. And all you want to do is get some sleep. But why would they leave? You still have beer. And you try and get all of them out, but you may not succeed, especially if you do not have any experience.
My guy's pretty like a girl, and he got 5 stories to tell. I see both sides like Chanel. See on both sides like Chanel.
The following photo was sent to me by one of you. They're tagged below. Normally I don't accept photos where I wasn't there firsthand, but I made an exception here. This is at Fort Fisher. This is the front door of the visitor center. What do you see? Spooky season's greetings and salutations from me, Rebecca the Ghost Guide. I've been hearing a lot from you of how you want spooky tales, and I couldn't think of anything better than to tell you what's going on right now with the ghost tour guides at Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington here in North Carolina. I assure you this is going to be ongoing, so you know what to do. This is going to be story number 3, and it comes from me, personally. I consider myself to have a pretty good relationship with the spirits and the hierarchy spirits of the St. James Graveyard. And so the other night, it really threw me through a loop when I walk up there and I hear from the overarching spirit, turn around and go. I've got a full group behind me and I'm looking around and I'm like, what? They repeat themselves, go. Group is coming up behind me, they're already really excited and I can't just turn around, and so I made an appeal to the overarching spirit. I actually pulled out silver coins, put them down in the dirt and said, please, just give me 10 minutes. That is called a wager and a compromise, and it does not always work. Fortunately, it worked that time. The following photo was sent to me by one of you. They're tagged below. Normally I don't accept photos where I wasn't there firsthand, but I made an exception here. This is at Fort Fisher. This is the front door of the visitor center. What do you see? Remember that alleyway near the Burgwin Wright House that I say people don't expect to be haunted? Look, I don't want to prime anybody because I want to hear your opinions on this, but I'm just saying I just got back from a ghost tour and this is an amazing picture. I'm going to comment what I see, but don't read my comment. Leave a comment first so I can understand what you see. This is the original photo. And this is a close-up of what I see, but what do you see? Comment. This photo is without a doubt the clearest photo I've ever captured of something in the graveyard. Get ready, because it's a cat. It's a nice little cat. Likes to visit us during the tours. Did I fool you? Maybe just like a little bit? Welcome to Thalian Hall. They say that a theater is lucky if it has a ghost. And if that's the case, this is one of the luckiest places in town. Why is it so haunted, you may ask? Some souls may want to watch shows straight into eternity. Or it might have something to do with the bodies found under the floorboard. Let's play the game of was it a bug or a ghost? So I'm up at St. James Graveyard, and I'm in the middle of the story, and I feel a kind of pull on the bow in my hair. As for reference, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so here are the options at hand. I was under a tree, a bug could have fallen out of the limbs. This would not be the first time that's happened, and I don't think I've ever screamed louder for anything else. The thing is, if that were a bug, it was heavy. And it was slow too, because it actually pulled at it a little bit and actually went down the feathers. So I ask you, was it a bug or a ghost? I honestly have no idea. Happy 2-year anniversary working Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington for me! Here's to anyone who hears their name called out to them from the shadows of their home. That's what it's like living in a haunted house. Honestly, the best thing you can do in this situation is treat it like you would treat somebody on the street calling out your name. Say hello and ask if they want anything and see if you can help. If not, you can't. Sorry.
Felt something touch my thigh, and Holly felt something grab her shoulder a little bit. It was
Careful. Or you can. I was gonna say it's easier to go through there. You just have to kind of really. Where the floor is kind of. Yeah, it is.
A place that employees as well hear things.
I started to feel very nauseous.
A book of death notices I just found this evening.
Just give us.
Metaphysics.
This is metaphysical.
Well?
Yeah. Rebecca the Ghost Guide here, and I have tips for communicating with animals. I have a number of spiritually gifted friends in town, and they have given me the same advice, and I'm about to give it to you. It's super simple. Are you ready? Listen in. Literally, just talk to them. I think you'd be surprised just how much animals understand. And to help them further, see a picture of what you're trying to tell them in your mind. Be sure that you have their attention and try to project it to them. And for added benefit, be in a calm, familiar place that they know of. Once you get better at this, you can be anywhere. I have started to do this with my pets, and you wouldn't believe the results that I've gotten. That said, I have an aloof cat and a headstrong dog. They understand, they just don't always want to listen. So I try to have the patience to try and explain to them what I'm trying to get across and why it's important. Kind of like dealing with children. It's very similar. So next time you're going on a trip or going to the vet or something that's uncomfortable for them or something different from the routine, tell them what's going on. Now tell me what kind of pet you have. Welcome to the Latimer House. Built in 1852 for the Latimer family, now the public is welcome to take tours within this home. However, guests be wary, because if you ever see a child staring down at you from one of the port windows up there, it's a ghost.
It's just a song, an inefficient way to move the story along. I'm done.
You're just being cynical.
No, it's just the principle. Someone, won't you make it stop?
Don't make it stop.
Oh, I can't stop singing. Make it stop, make it stop. Am I real or just a prop? Oh, I can't stop singing. So let's just talk.
Talk, 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 talk.
We're trapped inside a musical review.
At least I'm here with you. I don't wanna make it stop.
Are you ready for a ghost party? The following photo was taken at the Latimer House by one of the guests at Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington. No lights could be seen outside, but they did show up in this photo. Here's the first photo where it's starting up here. Then by the second photo, we got this going on. Ooh, Ouch! Shots fired! Alright, hope you're holding on tight because here we go. Reasons why a river could be haunted. And also, just want to say real quick, a lot of these answers are the same things that were commented on that video on places you wouldn't expect to be haunted, River Edition. So thanks everybody for your comments. I love reading them. At the same time, they also make me really sad. Of course, we could go into the general reasons of why a river could be haunted. So drownings, sinking ships, people jumping off of bridges. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes in with that. Reasons why the Cape Fear is haunted in particular. Let's look at history. The Cape Fear Indians were massacred here. Pirates, river dumpings through many time periods. The Wilmington coup d'etat of 1898, look it up. The yellow fever epidemic, hurricanes, which includes flooding, high crime and more river dumpings during Prohibition, and recently they dumped chemicals in the river and now we're likely all to get cancer. I'm not joking, look it up. There's plenty more, but hear me out. The Cape Fear River, named appropriately. The Cape of Fear River. Hope that answered your question. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is one of those photos that I look at and then I'm like, oh, sorry, sir, didn't see you standing there. This was also sent in by one of the guests at Ghost Walk of Old Wilmington and takes place at St. James Graveyard. What do you see? Okay, so this is actually one of my favorite questions to answer and probably not for a reason that you're expecting. So I always tell people if you think you have a haunting, try and disprove the haunting. So I'll use this as an example at the beginning of the movie The Conjuring, where they go into the home and they find out that it's not a haunting, right? They find out there's something else going on. What do you have to say? That's what I recommend people to do. I say try and disprove it, especially if you're not spiritually sensitive. That will help you rest at night. Now, if you cannot disprove it, and you've asked a friend, and you've asked a professional, and all of them cannot disprove the haunting and try to prove it scientifically, then call in a spiritualist because looks like you got something. Welcome to places you wouldn't expect to be haunted. To places you wouldn't expect to be haunted. I've got a real non-ghost story. This place is known for never being too quiet. Your guests be wary. This is one of the most active places on my ghost tour. The haunting, however, predates this lot. They say that a theater is lucky if it has a ghost. Let me guess, you're thinking, oh, this place looks new. Nobody died here. It couldn't be haunted. Beautiful, historic, brick-laden street. Oh, there's a graveyard. It's not about the building that's here, it's what was before it. And right where I'm standing, a gallows was built. This is one of 3 known places here in Wilmington called Gallows Hill. Sometimes these people would be left hanging for days or weeks at a time. The graveyard used to be larger. A lot larger. To the person who asked me the other day, can beaches be haunted? Yes. Yes, they can. Because if you ever see a child staring down at you from one of the port windows up there, it's a ghost. My name's Rebecca the Ghost Guide. I post spooky content all year round. Imagine what I got cooked up for October. Hi there! Yes, I know it's Halloween. For anybody like, whoa, where's all your content today? You know, this is like the busiest day of my year, right? It was even busier today for a really awesome reason. I was asked to be featured in a story that's going to be happening on the evening news at 6, 10, and 11 tonight on WECT. Basically, it's a longer version of the TikTok that I did that focused on diseases on my ghost tour. If I can share it on here later, I absolutely will. I know it's going to be online, and we're also going to be releasing it on my YouTube. So I'm really, really excited. I really hope that you check it out. This is super big for me, so I hope it's really good. I'm a little nervous. On top of that, I have my last ghost tour tonight, at least until next year. So you can also expect a TikTok coming from that. Happy Halloween, everyone. This has been an incredible year. Thanks for following me, and yeah, the creepy content's gonna continue, even if I'm not in Wilmington.
Wilmington is known for its rich history and historic past, but sometimes some of those stories can get a little spooky. On this Halloween, I talked to a ghost guide who relates the COVID-19 pandemic to her ghostly stories of the past.
This was the very center of commerce for hundreds of years.
First stop, the Riverwalk. Rebecca, the ghost guide as she goes by, does ghost tours throughout the city of Wilmington. She tells stories that will haunt you on any day of the year, but she likes to tie history into everything. So she's created a disease route and relates past sicknesses to the coronavirus pandemic.
For most of our history here in Wilmington, while Wilmington was a city, it was trades of goods, services, and with that trade, a lot of people close together also traded disease over time.
And just down the road is the Bullock Hospital, a spot that gets passed by often, but has plenty of stories to tell. The tales say patients there suffered from extreme nightmares and sleep paralysis. But Rebecca says the diseases that put them there, we now have cures for. A good sign for the future.
A lot of the spirits that are still haunting this place, their lives were taken from sicknesses that we now have vaccines for. So it's another kind of touch with history to be able to look at the spirits still here to say that they may have died from scarlet fever, or typhoid, or what have you, but to also learn and recognize that a lot of these sicknesses we're no longer having to deal with as a society because science has come along.
And of course, what's a ghost tour without a graveyard? The St. James Graveyard is the oldest recognized graveyard in Wilmington. Many people who had yellow fever were buried in that area, some of them without headstones. There's a lot to take in, but if there's one thing Rebecca wants those bold enough to take her tour to know,
I always tell people, I say, things may be bad right now. However, they have been worse. History reminds us where we used to be. History reminds us also where we ought to be right now. History reminds us where we could be.
Rebecca the Ghost Guide says if there's one thing she's learned, it's that even the scariest of things, like the COVID-19 pandemic, we can come back from. She says do your research, learn about why Wilmington is so great, and also why it's one of the scariest places you'll find. In Wilmington, I'm Bryant Reed. Happy Halloween.